Now, it's fair to say everyone knows Arsenal needs some transfers. While not being the worst time at the club, there has definitely been some underlying problems that hopefully the next two windows can sort out for the future of the club. Now, in this video, we're going to go through a massive bombshell that was dropped on the timeline yesterday, with Arsenal apparently agreeing a deal in principle for Alberto Moleiro. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about everything there is to know about the deal and why Arsenal would even look at a player like this in the first place. So let's get into it. Now, if you don't know what I am talking about, yesterday on Twitter, Arsenal Fan TV came out with this report that Arsenal have reached an agreement to sign Alberto Moleiro from his club Las Palmas, agreeing to pay his 60 mil release clause in next summer. Now, first of all, this does come out of a little bit of nowhere. Not only is he probably a player that most people don't know who he is, which I think is absolutely fair, the report that Arsenal Fan TV came out with, which they got from this website called Facetious, I think, states that he is a left back, which is completely not reliable. He is definitely not a defender. He's more of a left winger / attacking midfielder. Now, while that already makes it seem not very legit, I also think that they're not a very reliable site. And realistically, would Arsenal go and pay 60 mil for a release clause of a 21-year-old in a position where there is clearly bigger candidates you could pay for that sort of money around Europe? I don't think so. However, despite this, there has clearly been some sort of concrete talks somewhere in Arsenal about this player overall, and I do think his profile is exactly what I am glad that we are looking for. He is a very high dribbler winger, you could say, and can play on that left side more importantly, which is a place we need to obviously cover. Now, like we said, I don't think that 60 mil is going to be legit, and if we were to sign him, he plays for Las Palmas. I really don't think we have to sign him on release clause. You could surely whittle that down and force him to get a leave from that club. I don't think he would surely be staying there, given his age is 21 as well, a good age to get experience in. And for someone that scored 4 goals and got 4 assists last year and has 4 goals this season, I just think that's a lot of money. Now, I've said that I'm not really too bothered about Arsenal's wingers that we look for, depending on goal scoring chances, especially when they play for a lot weaker sides like Las Palmas. It's not really a fair comparison. You've just got to look at the other stats to really gauge an opinion. Now, first of all, he doesn't make a lot of passes in a game, but he is actually very good at pass completion, around an 80% rate, and on all the metrics of short, medium and long passes in every season he has played, he actually has a really good tally. Even his 15 to 30 yard passes are an 88% completion rate this season, and he's almost trying over half of how many is medium range from short range. So I think that does show some good improvement there that we would get on our players that we have in that position. But I do think the major thing about this guy, when you watch him play, when you see stats of him, when you watch the tactical videos on him, it's all about his successful take-ons. Now, he makes around 2.6 a game successfully, which is a decent level, but can definitely be improved on. But he is very equipped at both feet at going nimbly, running past players. Now, maybe it's a potential worry, given his stature and his height, and we've seen that sort of issues before with Fabio Vieira being the main issue he had when he came to England, but he is very quick and very good on his feet. Now, his defensive work isn't as good as people like Martinelli or Trossard, which maybe shows Arsenal are trying to get someone who can be that finisher in the final third, especially from that left wing position over him, which I do think is what we need to look at. Sometimes you need to not keep signing all these wingers capable of defending. If you just allow a winger or an attacking player to basically exploit that pace, it will be the best thing in the world. Now, I keep saying winger because he has played a lot in left wing this season and over his career. However, I do think with Arsenal signing him, he could be more of that left-sided attacking role. Now, why I say this is because people are going to think I'm taking digs at Moleiro, which I am not. For some reason, there is this constant barrage of Moleiro being awful by a lot of people, and that he is one of the worst signs in the Emirates era, which is stupid. He was signed to be a squad player that could help us in tactical ways, and that is literally what he does. He isn't supposed to be an out-and-out creator. His job is to facilitate and actually give more space to Martinelli, which he has been, and Martinelli hasn't been taken, which is not Mourinho's fault. And tactically, even if you look at in the recent game against Crystal Palace, a lot of the goals were created because Mourinho's positioning with Odegaard helped us so much in that diamond. And I get that it's these small things that people don't really notice, but I think it's just so disrespectful to even claim that. And I do think we do need to sign another left centre mid. We knew that anyway, and another defensive midfielder if Partey or Jorginho are going to leave in the summer. And to get someone more attacking him would definitely help. Now, I have also looked at someone like Eze in the past because he's got a really good ability to drive with the ball. He's got a lot of power in his legs. He's also used to the league and probably would cost around the same amount of money as Moleiro, who we're talking about. And why I say this is because despite playing in the wing, when he has played centrally or into that half space on the left hand side, more importantly, I would say, you can see the dribbling perspective that he has. He's so good at driving, not necessarily through a power runner. I don't really consider him as a sort of powerful player, but but he is quite nimble and is so good at technically going around players. And I think the idea is that we have two technically sound attacking players in them sort of left and right half spaces, two advanced 8/10s that you could say, and we've already got Odegaard. But I do think it will pass some of the responsibility over to someone else at some times, not only making us more balanced on the left and right side comparatively, but also giving Odegaard a little bit more rest. And we all know that Odegaard works much better deeper on the pitch, so it would actually allow him to be deeper in them positions, and then you can have Rice or anyone else probably as that main defensive midfielder sweep it up. And I think that is probably the main idea for Arsenal in the future. And Moleiro is a guy that is definitely looking for the future. I think there's been some standout performances from him overall. I think his performances against Real Madrid last year will be famous to any of you who know him. He was so good in that game, and overall he is incredible link-up play, I think more importantly with the strikers of Las Palmas. And like I said, that low centre of gravity, that nimbleness is very effective, and at the age of 21 he has done great things for that team, which are not expected to do brilliant things in that league. Overall though, from a statistical side, his stats don't back him up consistently, and I don't know how much people have watched of him other than the big games. My only real experience of him is watching him in the games against Real Madrid or Barca. I haven't seen him every week for Las Palmas. I don't know how he's performing against the lower league oppositions, which is often a problem you get with players who don't really have that same expectation, but there is still a lot of hype around this guy nevertheless. I also do look at some of his creative stats, and they do concern me a lot. His assist tally, even his expected assists, aren't great, and I've said he's got good link-up play, and he does create actions, I guess, leading to shots. I just think he plays a lot deeper in these roles, which I'm not sure if really is what Arsenal need. We need someone that's probably going to be the out-and-out creator on that left-hand side more than anything. Someone that can get back and help, I guess, would help, but they need to be more importantly more attacking than probably Martin Odegaard as that natural 10, and some of his stats don't really show he could do that right now, but he is young, just 21 years old. However, he does seem like a player that I think we would sign in the sort of category that we signed Lokongo, 17 mil, we gave him a chance, didn't really work out with that sort of situation, but you can definitely see the project and the idea there. This is one of them players that I think would do that, but I also don't really understand why he would come to Arsenal to sit on the bench for once and all. I think there's teams in Spain that will probably want him a lot more and will play him a lot more, and for the money it's apparently going to cost around 50 mil, which is absolutely crazy, but even around 30 to 40 mil, I don't really see the point of actually bothering with this one. There's a lot of players out there that could probably give us more, and buying an attacker anyway is going to limit positions and players playing who we need to get more experience, and given his age he has got a lot of time to improve, and there's definitely a player in there. It's if Arteta can find him or not, and we obviously know that Arteta will probably start signing more Spanish players now that Edu isn't there, and he's got even more power currently, so this definitely lines up that thinking as well. Overall, I just wanted to make this video to kind of debunk the rumours about him actually joining. I think the reports are quite frankly quite inaccurate and wrong, but also to give you an idea of the player that he is and what Arsenal are potentially looking at, because I do think that is a market we really need to capitalise on in the future. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.